evening, everyone, and
welcome. You've got mail
to Jupiter at Night. You've got an episode of Jupiter at Night, right? Tonight's episode is all about America Online, and my name is Chris.
I'm Alan.
I'm Jeremy.
Hey there, guys.
I want to point out up front that all three of us are reformed addicts. We were all introduced to the joys of AOL.
It's kind of what I had nothing else. Yeah. It was either that or before that I had Juno, and that was just email.
Yes, Juno.
So AOL was a godsend for me. I hated it to death, but
let's be clear. I was an AOL user back in the day when AOL, if you're watching the video version, when AOL looked like this. We're looking at AOL 2.0. And this thing, I mean, this is history now.
That was the pinnacle of technology.
Right?
That was where I first was introduced to multiplayer online games, which is now like my livelihood, basically.
And really the most lively chat rooms I think you had anywhere back then.
Yeah.
I mean, there was other online services, but the chat rooms back then were kicking.
And now our chat room puts those to shame.
Doesn't seeing that make you feel really old, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, well, back in my day, AOL looked like this, and we only had these chat rooms that we could go to.
16 colors.
Unlike you fancy kids with all your chat rooms.
That's very true, dude. Now, AOL over the years has taken a lot of interesting turns. I think everybody is familiar with the AOL CDs.
It's a pop culture thing. It's been made fun of in movies, I think.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Now, tonight we're going to talk about how AOL is transforming, and so are that path that they're taking and some concerns that we have. But I think an interesting little statistic, which you can read more about in our show notes, is there's actually a number on how much those AOL CDs cost. You know, all of those CDs they sent out. You know, they only started doing that in the 90s.
Right.
Obviously, because that's when CD-ROMs came around, and they stopped in the 90s. And
once they realized how much it was costing them?
Yeah, well...
How much did it cost them?
Interestingly enough, it cost them quite a bit of money. Some estimates say they spent over $300 million. They suspect that they would cost as much as $25 to $35 per CD, depending on the time of manufacture. Per CD, $25 to $35.
What?
Per CD.
At the time, I could make CDs cheaper.
They said at one point, 50% of the CDs produced worldwide had an AOL logo on it.
That I believe. Because you remember going to like state fairs where things are made out of the AOL CDs.
Yeah.
Yes, and he says that at one point, this kind of reminded me of Facebook when he said, this was the former chief marketing officer at AOL. He says that at one point, they were logging new subscribers at the rate of 1 every 6 seconds because of these CDs.
Like new accounts.
Yeah.
But how long can you actually keep that up before it...
Well, and another thing you
out.
want to keep in mind is there was a lot of people, I had some friends that would sign up for the freeze period, dump it after that, and then get a new disc and sign up for a new free period with a new account.
I used to go on AOL.com using the AOL trial and sign up with different names. For a while, I was doing different, like William Shatner.
Yeah.
And that William Shatner got in, and the mail person, like, are you really Bill Shatner? No, I just want a free AOL CD.
Dude, you guys are like white trash AOL users.
White trash AOL user? Whatever, dude. I was sophisticated gaming the system.
You were like a hacker.
Yeah, dude, I was freaking
You
AOL.
weren't hacking shit.
You're right. But William Shatner was, at least that's what AOL
All right,
thought.
let's dig into why we're talking about all this today.
I think Alan touched on it. I mean, Alan said, you know, how long can they sustain that?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. So what happened in the late 90s? They tried to merge with Time Warner.
Well, that seemed like money making all around.
They successfully merged with Time Warner, and Time Warner found out very, very quickly that they got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, AOL was like, oh my God, I can't believe
the very next year, there was like a $90 or $900 million loss on AOL or something like that.
And it's AOL Time Warner.
Yeah.
Not like, okay, we're Time Warner, we own you. It's like, no, we're first in the name, sir.
Yeah. We get alphabetical priority.
The whole idea stems.
Who let that happen?
The whole idea stems from what I believe is their core motivation today, and that's exactly what we're building towards here. Is they wanted to get in the content business. They felt like online wasn't enough or something like that, and they wanted to get in the content business. Now, Business Insider out of New York has come out with a pretty big leak today, and that's the genesis of today's episode. And this leak is essentially the AOL master plan, the AOL way.
The AOL Way.
Yeah.
And it's like a new internal document memo that was sent out business-wide that's a training document, a restructuring document. It contains everything that these guys want to
A playbook of how AOL properties online should behave. Now, there's a ton of AOL properties. A few that I visit on a daily basis, like Engadget.com is an AOL property. TV Squad, Download Squad,
back in
TechCrunch.
I think it was 95 or 96, they bought that Weblogs Inc., which is the company that runs all of those, Engadget and all of its...
Yeah. So the whole Weblog Inc. series of blogs, Autoblog, TWA, a Mac blog, a bunch of joystick. Maybe you probably
Yeah, I have that on my RSS.
So this document that leaked that Business Insider got. I mean, what a get from Business Insider. I don't know how they got this leak, but this is like one of those that reveals like their number goals, their like how we're gonna actually generate this revenue.
So that's embarrassing, though,
Very
isn't
embarrassing,
A little bit, yeah.
especially because of the content.
Ooh, what's the content?
It's just like all.
Well, let's get
of
into the
this.
numbers a little bit because I think that's one of the things that surprised us the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a content provider on the internet, they mention their average hits and what they're currently at, and what they want their targets to be.
It was all supposed to be internal, but their goals are their AOL wants to really step up their page traffic to try to bring in that as a source of revenue via ads. They want to increase their average, and we're assuming the number is average.
Like probably across the entire network.
It wasn't really stated because the documents were for internal people, but right now their average page views for a blog post are around 1,500. Pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. They're trying to get them to 7,000.
On a good release day, I don't think I'm overstepping here, but I think we can hit that in an hour on a good release day.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I wanted to say that so bad. Like, boom, better than AOL.
No, it's just their average across. I mean, obviously, the properties like TechCrunch and Engadget get a staggering amount of traffic.
Oh yeah.
So these, things are different around, but so they want to. It's interesting the way they want to increase from a page view average of 1,500 to 7,000 isn't through content. What they want to do
is not through providing better stories.
Right. If the content happens to get them better search results or a way that they can self-market it internally on their own AOL affiliate network, that's what drives it. It's a real interesting read. You go through here. It's a cold, dry. We want to get into it. We want to only act on the things that will get clicks, only act on the things that you can do quickly, fast.
Yeah. They've got policies and procedures laid out for a whole vetting process for potential content about reviewing it with your managers and reviewing the past logs and looking at the analytics and seeing what's trending.
Here's a cute one, too.
So do they want to be like TMZ or something?
A little. They want to be part TMZ. They want to be part... have you ever been like Googling for something and come across like an about.com or an ehow.com?
Or Yahoo Answers.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
You hate that crap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is no mistake that comes up top in your...
They pay for that, don't they?
Well, they manipulate the system in a way that's maybe one part manipulating, one part playing towards its weaknesses and strengths. And AOL wants to get in that game. Demand media is another popular one. But one of the ways they're doing it is they want their bloggers to post a minimum of 7 to 10 articles a day. Now, how do you do well-researched, thought-out,
you don't.
fact-verified...
You just...
Now,
you don't.
We have the benefit of the J-Man here who writes for 10 Ton Hammer. So
I'm a professional journalist.
You can kind of speak to the you can speak to the publishing. How does it work, say, like in your line?
Well, I think it's safe to say that 10 Ton works completely differently. Now, there are 2, maybe 3 people on the staff that handled news.
Yeah.
And on that team...
And they're like full-time, always getting
they get all the press releases, they get all the patch notes for all the games, they seek out new releases and new civilizations, and they and they put all those things together. And between that small team, they post anywhere between 10 and 30 articles a day.
Sure. And they have a news category with a news feed for that type of content.
Exactly.
And
10 to 30 articles a day, though?
But it's all just dry, this is what's happening. There's no editorial content.
Oh, okay. That makes
Meanwhile,
sense.
they have an editorial staff, which I'm a part of.
Yeah,
and
see, like here, news.
my quota.
These are real headline type
And
stuff.
then you're all like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
This is
I
what
give my
think.
opinions, and people pay me for them.
Nice.
The difference
That's the best.
because you're doing reviews and you're looking at the content of a game, you can't crank that out in 2 hours.
No, and the editorial staff is on the books for a minimum of 2 per week. But, most people do between 2 and 4 a week.
Depending on what you have driving that.
Yeah.
Now, see, the difference here is AOL is just driving search results. Whatever the search results dictate is what they're going to publish. It's quantity over content.
They're going to crank out crap that's just filled with keywords that's
So
worthless.
then who's going to care about it? Who's going to that's going to be just pissing me off, and I'm going to avoid it.
That's why we care about it.
Yeah.
Because it's annoying and it's obnoxious, and it's... Why the hell doesn't AOL get it at this point? Okay, just think about this. AOL has obviously been tied to the internet for quite a while.
Since the internet became...
AOL
It's
is
nostalgic.
AOL is sort of dependent on the internet at this point for their business to exist.
I think we could all admit that they were more or less in the right place at the right time. But without AOL, I don't know that we'd be where we are today on the internet.
I don't know.
They would have got there eventually.
Yeah.
But they really
I think
enabled
they
people.
helped mainstream everything because I think having those discs, like 50% of all discs were that.
I mean, well, you're right about that.
Everyone knew it, so everyone felt safe with the internet because it's AOL.
It's brand recognition.
Everyone has it.
And, you know, back then, if you didn't have the internet, it's not like you could go download something to install. And it's not like your computer came with software to get on most of the time.
And if it did, it came with AOL.
See, this is what I don't get, though. So AOL is totally tied to the internet. AOL's very existence is tied to the internet being a functional, healthy ecosystem. But the very content that they'll end up putting out will be poisoning that ecosystem,
polluting it.
It's like they're lifeguards in a pool that they're taking a leak in on their breaks.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's that it's not like that because the pool, they can just reset the pool.
Well, but like we go back to so take my wife Angela, for example. She writes a mom's blog called momvault.com. And on there it's like stuff about, you know, her birth or stuff about baby stuff.
She does product reviews.
Exactly. And she did something about a rash. And now she's getting a ton of search results for people looking up information on that rash. The problem is as soon as that starts happening, companies like AOL or Demand Media come along and say, we're seeing a lot of trends for this. They throw up a real quick crap page in a couple of hours to now get that traffic.
But because they have that site reputation behind them,
right,
they're suddenly
link rate or page rank or whatever you want to call it.
But do people still trust AOL as
you don't
that
know,
kind of?
Did you know AOL was Engadget?
And people trust all of those sites.
Yeah, and also,
but do you think they're gonna make Engadget be like that?
I hope not.
Like, are they going to trickle that down, or is it just for AOL?
I really recommend people check out this article. It's pretty nuts, dude. It looks like it's a corporate-wide policy that's sort of a one approach fits all.
Yeah.
You know, very bureaucratic.
It's more content, better SEO, and another interesting thing that maybe we should touch on a little bit is a huge push for video.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, they're talking that right now approximately, I think they said about 5% of their articles overall are video related or have videos.
And they want to increase that number to 70%.
70% of their upcoming content by the end of next year.
Hey, people, that's what people want. That is something that actually makes sense to me.
Hope,
but
we hope so.
Think about it from this angle, though. We could be those guys taking the hit because of that. Because our site, even though you guys obviously you love us because you're watching this, but our site is not well ranked as well as Engadget. If Engadget was covering this exact same stuff with a three-guy podcast,
it happens all the time.
Guess who'd get the 3 million views?
It happens totally. I know it's
so it leads me back to when I owned AOL and was on it all the time when I wanted to destroy them. I literally want I honestly said that if I found out I had like 3 days on that, like, you know, towards the third day, I'm just going to take them out.
Yeah, you're going to like drive down there with your car full of explosives.
Well, you know, the building will be empty. I'm not trying to hurt people.
I literally had that same thought about AOL myself.
And every time I talked about that to my friends through like AOL Instant Messenger, I got booted.
No way.
I swear, it happened all the time.
It was psychic.
It was modern.
It's the little running man. He's psychic.
Yeah.
They didn't like that.
Well, we got a couple of good links, so a little bit of follow-up reading if you guys want some more.
I encourage it.
Including Read Write Web's co-editor had an article. He used to work at AOL they've been in the content farm business for a long time, and he was in there writing about 10 articles a day for him. He put his experiences up on a post on Read Write Web. We got a link to that in the show notes.
I just, the whole document, top to bottom, I used to work in the corporate world. I used to actually help write policy and procedures guidelines that would be sent out to the whole company.
Fun.
No. But I can tell by reading this horrible AOL Way that it's been written by a faceless group of guys that, they were just sitting in the word that immediately comes to mind is circle jerk.
They were
because they're just in their bubble. They don't understand people. They only understand business and profits and traffic and SEO. And they don't care about the fact that if they just improve the way of life of their customers, they'll write better content and get better hits.
It really comes down to content.
Dude, have you ever worked for a major corporation where you see like their playbill where it's like, dude, you are way off. You have not worked my position ever.
Yes.
Because this does not make sense at all.
I specifically quit my last job because of that.
Pretty much every job except for my current one is like that.
Yeah. It's
Well, 'cause I
ridiculous,
guess
but it's
it's the
part
only
of
one
this
that's not a
American
huge
corporate
corporation.
culture. It's so frequently, you know, there's that caricature of the group of old white guys with white hair and trophy wives that just sit around and talk about BS while they're smoking their cigars, and then they
drinking their whiskey.
It's true. There's a reason that caricature is so frequently portrayed. It's because these people don't have a freaking clue.
I know. All it would take is exactly what you said, dude. Happy writers, good content.
Yeah.
Because all I want is good, thoughtful commentary and review, and also I desperately want to be able to read something and trust that what's written has been researched.
You know what I want?
Exactly.
Is I want a news organization that can be trusted in the way that the customer service counter at Zappos can be trusted.
Totally.
You know, and in fact, we don't have it in the document yet, but I'm going to put a link to Tony Hsieh's book in here.
Yeah, Delivering Happiness.
Yeah.
I've read that book. It's a good book.
I have not yet, but I keep wanting to. Everything I hear about it is great, and it comes down to corporate culture.
It was the inspiration for me starting Jupiter Night, that book.
Yeah.
Because of that book, we started this show.
You should check it out. It's worth a read.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, listen, we know that the one thing we didn't talk about is probably the only thing on your mind tonight, and that's snow, at least for a lot of you.
Sometimes literally on your mind.
Have you guys been hearing about this?
Yeah.
It's crazy how much snow they're getting, like, on the East Coast and stuff.
Here, I've got an image.
It was kind of sunny today.
I know. Seattle was really nice. Alan in the chat room has, like, 2 feet of snow.
That sucks.
Right?
It just gets old after a while.
Let's leave that up on the screen for a second.
So I think we're going to be talking some about snow tomorrow.
Yeah. So this is a great chance. Dr. Kaz, he's already got a jump start on you. And a few of you did last episode too. I want snow pictures.
Snow videos.
Snow videos. But if you do have snow video.
Sledding.
Oh.
Please
go
sledding.
sledding.
Now, here's something I want to remind you, Chris, is that not everybody is so excited about the snow.
I know.
I've seen pictures
That's
already.
why you go sledding, and it's fun.
Yeah, make it fun. And
actually, as I was leaving the house tonight, my dad was watching the news about somebody over in the east somewhere that built a snowman so big that they used a pool for the top hat.
Whoa.
A pool, like a kiddie pool.
Or do that. Make a big dragon or like a Star Wars.
Totally. And
or Star Trek.
Send them over to night@jupiterbroadcasting.com. Or if you put them up on YouTube, just send us a link, put it in the comments, something like that. And we're trying to get a collection of the goods. If we get enough submissions, we'll do a snow crazy episode tomorrow.
Yep.
Sponsored by you.
Sponsored, brought to you by you. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for watching tonight's episode of Jupiter at Night. And we'll be right back here tomorrow night.